Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. This video is about 5th fret tuning or manually tuning your guitar, okay? Now, we all have tuners, right? Okay, various types, models out there. Some are better than others, very true. I've reviewed a lot of guitar tuners on my channel, so feel free to check those videos out. Just search my channel for guitar tuners and you should come up with a whack load of videos. Anyway, so another YouTuber is having problems tuning his low E string. And that's usually the one that's a real pain because when you're 5th fret tuning, you need to start out generally at the low E. But in this case, it's being problematic. And that's okay. It's not a big deal. If your tuner is working for at least your A string, okay, that's all you really need the tuner for. And you can actually tune your entire guitar after that. So if you do have a tuner that is giving you a big problem with your low E, you're finding, you're turning really tight and, the string is like, borderline wanting to snap or something, or you think it might snap, you're definitely too high in pitch, that's for sure, okay? If it's getting that kind of stress on the low E string, 5th fret tuning is a very simple method. I learned how to do it when I was taught how to tune by ear. Once you get used to the sound of a properly tuned low E string, and as well as your other strings too, you'll be able to hear it, and you should be able to ballpark, really close to being properly in tune, okay? Now, I have also, I've checked all my strings, but we're going to get the low E in first, and then we're going to knock everything else out of whack. And I'm going to show you how this works. Now, this is for electric guitars or acoustic guitars. Makes no difference. If it's got strings, there's a tuning method, but in this case, 6-string guitars, this is going to be the simplest for you to be able to get your guitar tuned up so you can play without any problems. So already we have the low E. It's actually down to about almost a D sharp right now. So in 5th fret tuning, how this works is you want to put any finger, just pick one, okay? Start at the top of your low E. Now, because this is the one giving him the problem, this is where we need to start. But if you've already got your low E, this is going to apply the same sort of thing. You'll just have to match your low E and your A together and so on. We'll re-go over that in a minute. So anyways, just listen really carefully about the sound that happens when you fret the 5th fret on the low E. You can hear that really bad, like a vibrato sound, right? So what we need to do is we need to get these two strings to match. So while it's vibrating, reach over and grab at the same time. And use your thumb if you want to. You can use a pick as well. And you're listening for that waver to all but disappear completely. And small turns of the tuner, by the way. You got to really listen close for that wavering sound. So I'd say that's pretty bang on. Now I am going to confirm this with the tuner to see exactly how close I got. But if you do have a tuner that's giving you a problem, this is where you need to do this. So I'm actually down just a little bit. So I'm going to bring this right up. Okay. So now that waver is completely gone. Now the two sound the same. the idea here is with 5th fret tuning and on your low E, this is actually an A note. This is why you can tune to the open A below. Now, let's knock the guitar out. And I'm going to go through the whole process because not every string is done on the 5th fret. So now it sounds horrible. Now we've left the low E in tune though for this. Okay? But if you listen to the sound and really pay attention to that tone. Now whether you're using your thumb or a pick, you got to listen because it's going to create a little bit different tone if you just used your thumb. Now the string won't waver no matter where it's at, but you have to listen to that sound and get that in your mind. And this is going to help you learn tune by ear later. So, under 5th fret tuning, under normal circumstances, you would get your E into tune, and then you go after your A. Now you can just, quickly reach over like I am, and you're listening again for that waver. Now, if your low E was already really tight, like his was, back that low E string right off. Get it, definitely so that it's definitely low, right? Sometimes when you tune a guitar, especially with brand new strings, it can really throw you off to go, oh, where am I actually supposed to be with that low E, right? It's a tension thing, and there's less tension on an electric guitar strings than there is actually on an acoustic, so it is kind of deceptive at times. So that's pretty solid. I'm happy. You're going to hear where that waver is going to jump a lot. Right there. Good with that. G string is a little tricky. G string's under a lot of tension, and it can make sometimes like a snap sound or a ping sound. Can kind of freak you out a little. Don't worry. It's got to be tight. Now I'm pretty picky, so I'm really listening to that tone. I want that waveform, if it's going to move at all, I want it to take a while before it actually floats. Now, here's where it gets tricky. We went 5, 5, 5, okay? So now our G string is in. You want to go to the 4th fret now to get the B in tune, okay? Your B string. So you go to the 4th fret on your G string, okay? Or 3rd string from the bottom. Okay, so now our last string is the B and the E together, so the high E. We're back to the 5th fret. And because of the high pitch, you got to really listen here. So as you're doing this, pay attention to the different sounds that you hear. And you can do this just like over and over, back the strings back off, and then try retuning again, get as close as you possibly can, and train your ears to actually be able to tune by ear. because sometimes your battery may die in your tuner. You don't have another battery kicking around. Stores are closed. You're kind of yanked. You got to be able to tune your guitar. So let's check the guitar, see how it sounds. Now I like to start with an E chord when I do this, because if there's going to be any problems, I'm going to hear it the most. I'm listening to hear how solid each chord sounds. So I'm going to verify right now with the tuner, and I'm going to see how close the guitar got. Now, the other thing I want to tell you too is when you are putting a brand new set of strings on, you are going to have to stretch your strings, obviously, a couple of times. You're going to be retuning your guitar at least a half a dozen times before it stays really stable. And of course, for about a week or so after, it's going to fall out quite a bit more than it normally would by even just sitting there doing nothing on the wall or on your stand. You should always retune your guitar every time you play it anyways, because there's always going to be a note or two that's going to be plus or minus somewhere. So, you know, it's just the way the nature of guitars are, and wood moves all the time. Okay, so let's see what we got here. And the other thing too is you're going to find that when you put a new set of strings on and you go and you tune it once, you will be retuning like I just mentioned, but the reason for that is the strings are pulling the neck back up at the same time, so the neck has to come back and get set back into place, which is why you're going to be retuning a number of times, not just for stretching strings. So I'm not out by much actually on that E. Now every tuner is different in how sensitive a tuner is. Some will actually read that it's a lot closer on than what this one does. It's all, no tuners are equal, bottom line. The big thing is don't rush your tuning. Like, don't go crazy on the knobs and go over where you should be. Okay, so now we're all in tune. Okay, so everything's stable. So we'll check our sound. Okay, so we're all tuned up. So that's how you do 5th fret tuning. Now, if you're doing this completely by ear, you know, you got to get every string in. And this is why you got to pay attention to this E. Now, once your guitar is in tune, another way to really listen to is hit the E and the A, because you know they're in tune. You can go based off that and say, okay, I gotta make it sound like that with the two of them together. So let's just drop the E. Now, I don't think that's in tune personally, and I'm right. Close. So you hear that sound. Okay. Now I don't know. You can't really see where my tuner position is, but I'm gonna go this way. It's out. I should be able to go back to the same place, you would think. And I'm pretty close. I'm within just a smidge. And there we go. So we're back in tune. So I hope this video helped you guys out. I know it was a little bit long, but there was a lot of stuff to go through on this one. But thanks for watching just the same. I hope you really enjoyed it. And to the guy that actually needed the help on this, I hope this also really helped you out as well too. Stay tuned because I'm going to do another kind of a tuning video. I don't know if it'll be today or not, but I'm going to go through what's called harmonic tuning on a guitar, which works really well too. For tuning up your guitars, acoustics, or electrics. The critical thing is going to be on electrics. You better make sure your intonation is really well set up on your electric to be able to do harmonic tuning properly. But on acoustics, there's really not much you can do. But you'll still be able to do it either way, and as long as your intonation is good on your electrics, you can also harmonically tune your guitar. It's also part of doing this by ear as with the E, getting that in, and then harmonically balancing out the strings. Anyways, thanks very much. Catch you on the next one.